Okay, and so let's talk about mindfulness. This is one of my favorite subjects to talk about. So, mindfulness is a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment without interpretation or judgment, right? So, practicing mindfulness involves breathing methods, guided imagery, and other practices to relax the body and mind to help reduce stress. And one of the things I'm going to do in the last video of the series is just kind of help take you through some breathing methods, excuse me. Well, I'm going to discuss them and then take you through the exercises of the breathing methods, guided imagery, and other ways you can just relax your body and mind to help reduce stress. But first, I want to teach you about why that's important. Okay, so for most of us in our busy lives, we spend too much time planning, problem solving, daydreaming, or thinking negative or random thoughts that can be draining. For some people, like they have so many racing thoughts. It can also be called rumination, where thoughts just kind of go, you turn them over and over in your head, and it just increases your anxiety of your worry. All of that can just be very, very draining. um, and it can make you more likely experience stress, anxiety, and symptoms of depression. Practicing mindfulness exercises can help you direct your attention away from this kind of thinking, and engage you with the world. Like, so oftentimes I've had clients in a session and they'll discuss like how anxious or stressed they are. And when I ask them, so what's the thing that's making you anxious? I don't know. Like, they'll say, I don't know. I'm having so many thoughts. I just don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what's going on. And that to me means, I mean, they said they had so many thoughts, but it really means to me that you're just kind of not in tune. Like, you can catch those thoughts if you're in tune with yourself. Like, if you stop for a minute and just kind of check in, to see where you are, see how you're feeling. Like, if you think about it, when you wake up in the morning and go to school, when you're stressed or you've suffered a trauma, or when you're just kind of overall like you're not in a good mood, when you wake up in the morning and you feel that, it's like, what am I feeling right now? Some people will just describe it as a heaviness, low motivation. They'll describe it as all these things, and some people will describe it as anger and irritation. But if you don't stop and just kind of check in for just a minute or two, just stop and check in and figure out what you're feeling. I just saw this really great TikTok, that a woman said that her therapist asked her to just kind of be aware of what she's feeling. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what she said, but just be aware of what you're feeling, and not just saying happy, sad, glad, or mad, right? It's really identifying feelings. So, looking for feelings charts, identifying what you're feeling. And I think the lady eventually came to the conclusion that she was feeling humiliated by something someone did to her. And instead of saying sad, which was her first response, she understood, oh, I feel humiliated. Now that I know what I'm feeling, I tapped in, I've taken a minute to understand it, then okay, now I can address the humiliation. Now I can take care of myself accordingly, because now I know what's going on with me, right? And that's a really wonderful practice, to help yourself, right? Um, it can, practicing mindfulness exercises can also help direct your attention away from that negative thinking, and engage you and keep you engaged in the world around you. So there are many benefits to meditation. Meditation has been studied over and over again. And the overall evidence for these studies, it supports the effectiveness of meditation for various conditions like stress, anxiety, pain, depression, insomnia, high blood pressure, which is also called hypertension. And so these things can be seen in just the reduction in your blood pressure once you start to breathe or exercise or take care of yourself, change what you eat. And I know that it seems like I'm naming things that are not a part of mindfulness, but all those things are a part of mindfulness. And we will get to that when I discuss mindfulness exercises. So, preliminary research indicates that meditation can also help people with asthma and fibromyalgia, right? Meditation can help you experience thoughts and emotions with greater balance and acceptance. Meditation has also been shown to improve your attention, decrease job burnout, improve sleep, and improve diabetes control. And this is just from understanding your body, taking time to tap in, to be mindful about your body, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're feeling as far as emotions, and what you're feeling as far as physiological symptoms. Okay, so there are simple ways to practice mindfulness, right? One is pay attention. It's hard to slow down and notice things in a busy world, right? Try to take the time you need to experience your environment with all your senses: touch, sound, sight, smell, and taste. For example, when you eat a favorite food, take your time to smell, taste, and truly enjoy it. And I'll give you another reason why this is important. You know, a lot of times when we suffer a trauma or just kind of a really big mental health event, we have a tendency to just say, okay, I'm ready to get back on the horse. I'm ready to do things again. So when you walk into a room, because you're looking for that normalcy, you're looking to feel just kind of like yourself again. When you walk into that room, pay attention. How am I feeling? Am I okay? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel depressed? Do I feel sad? Do I feel heavy in some way? And heavy meaning I can't identify the emotion I'm feeling right now, but I do know I don't feel like myself. And you pay attention to what you're feeling instead of, like, when you get that catch of anxiety, instead of ignoring it saying, I'll be fine, answer it and ask, like, will I be fine? If the answer is, okay, let me breathe, let me center myself, let me figure out, um, what it is I can do to just kind of feel better. If nothing you can do will make you feel better, then tap out. I'm gone, I'm leaving. I often suggest to people, and this is right after trauma, and I think working with a professional to understand when you're what people call running, when you're just kind of running away from a stimuli, versus understanding, like, I don't have the capacity for this right now. I'm because if I stay, I'm going to have an outburst. If I stay, I'll faint, I'll pass out, I'll get sick. There's a difference between the two. And so what I'm talking about is just kind of that physiological reaction. I often tell clients, before you go, because a lot of us, you know, we want to make our partners happy, we want to make our family and friends happy. So we do things that we're just kind of not mentally prepared to do because we want to make them happy and we're nervous about saying no. Um, and sometimes you just have to say no. You have to tap in, pay attention, and understand, like, yeah, I'm not in the space where I can just kind of show up in the way that you want me to. I apologize, but I have to take care of myself first. I'll say I apologize not for feeling the way that I feel, but I apologize for disappointing you. That's not my intent, but I have to take care of myself because I don't ever want you to apologize about feeling panicked or sick or any of those just kind of negative things. Okay, so another mindfulness exercise is live in the moment, right? Try to intentionally bring an open, accepting, and discerning attention to everything you do. Find joy in the simple pleasures, right? So, live in a moment means relax when it comes to your anxieties, right? And because anxiety is a fear-based thing, right? So it's going to bring up all the negative thoughts and feelings and emotions. It's going to happen because that's the way anxiety works, right? And it's trying to let go of those anxieties and for the moment so that you can live and find some peace and happiness. The same way with depression, it's hopeless, it's helpless, it's heavy, and it makes you feel like nothing will ever go well. Like, why am I here? What's the reason for all? Wait, it's just too much, right? And so, living in a moment, it means doing things to just, again, find the joy in simple pleasures. There are times where, if I'm going grocery shopping, which I hate to do, but I'll go and I'll have music on because I need to distract myself from just kind of absolutely hating the task. And this is a very simplified example, but what I do is I turn on that music, I'm dancing, I might be singing, not loudly because that would be obnoxious, but I may be doing, a little dance, a little jiggle here, jiggle there, and I'm making that unpleasant thing enjoyable to me, um, so that I can get through it. And so if you dance in the middle of your living room, laugh with friends, watch a comedy, just make sure you enjoy it. And be intentional. And intentional means that I'm going to go out. I have decided that I am going to be happy, that I am going to be joyful, that I am going to be engaged, and I'm going to give my 100% time, attention, and focus to this activity. And I'm going to let everything go. I'll get to worrying and feeling depressed later, right? Accept yourself. Treat yourself the way you would treat a friend. I say this all the time. That is my mantra. I need to put it on a t-shirt, sweatshirt, whatever. Treat yourself as you would someone you love. I've said this in a previous video. If you wouldn't say it to a kid or someone you loved, then you don't say it to yourself. It's going to have the same damaging effect. You're going to feel bad. You're going to feel useless, worthless. You're going to feel all these negative things because you you're just saying these really mean things to yourself. And when you're saying these things, there's somewhere deep down inside where you believe these things, and if you believe them, you're going to operate out of that. It's like this domino effect. It's this continuous thing, this continuous cycle. So focus on breathing, right? When you have negative thoughts, try to sit down, take a deep breath, and close your eyes. So focus on the breath as it moves in and out of your body. Sitting and breathing for even just a minute can help. And it really does. I'm a testament to breathing and how it helps you feel better overall. I don't do it as much as I would like to do it. And this month I had challenged myself to just kind of bring back the breathing more. But breathing and affirming yourself can do wonders in regards to just changing your mindset. And I'm going to get to that later because what I don't want to do is just kind of mix up the two. So you can also try more structured mindfulness exercises. So body scan meditation. So you lie on your backs with your back. You only have one back with your legs extended and your arms at your side, palms facing upwards. Focus your attention on slowly and deliberately on each part of your body. Um, in order from head to toe. So you're just kind of going up and scanning up and down your body, and it's being aware of just kind of how you're feeling in that moment. And I don't want to go detailed because some of that I'll be talking about in the meditation video. Sitting meditation, sitting comfortably with your back straight, feet flat on the floor, with your hands in your lap. And then I'm going to talk about that more. Walking meditation, finding a quiet place, 10 to 20 feet in length, and begin walking slowly. Focus on the experience of walking, being aware of the sensations of standing and subtle movements that keep your balance, right? So, um, It's doing these things so that you can just kind of feel better, feel centered, feel aware of your body. Okay. And so I want to go back again to just kind of to make sure you're just kind of understanding what mindfulness is. It's straightforward, right? It's not, a lot of people will make it seem like it's really difficult to practice, or you have to be enlightened to practice and you have to be all these things. But what it simply is just really attending to what's going on in your mind and your body, understanding how you're feeling. And it might seem very, very simple, but understanding and knowing those things can really help you just kind of center yourself, because sometimes your mind takes flight, right? You lose touch with your body, and you start to once you're just kind of disconnected to your body, you start to have those anxious thoughts I talked about previously. It just becomes out of control, and before you know it, you're just kind of doing these things. You're disassociating. You don't know you don't know what's been going on. You haven't paid attention to things that are going on around you. You can't tell anybody what happened. When I was younger, I used to disassociate all the time. And again, I was one of those students that teachers thought was just inattentive, not paying attention. And it was simply because it was easier for me to just kind of check out. I didn't want to be at school. I didn't want to be home. Everything was hard. And so it was easy for me to just kind of check out and daydream. Um, you know, when mindfulness, I know I named some, some practices of mindfulness, but it can also be just short pauses. Mindfulness can be short pauses that you insert into your everyday life, and whether those short pauses are you just kind of doing the walking meditation, the seated meditation, or the breathing meditation and mindfulness. Um, Merging meditation with other activities, with yoga. That's a really good combination. Putting your mindfulness and yoga together is really, really great. So, when you meditate and use mindfulness techniques, it doesn't, it doesn't, it helps you to not fixate, right? It just kind of opens you up. Mindfulness will reduce stress, enhance your performance. You'll gain insight and awareness through observing your own mind, taking time again to just know what you're thinking, know what you're feeling. And mindful meditation gives you a time in your lives when you can just suspend judgment. You don't want to think about yourself in a way of judgment or judging other people. You just want to be in that feeling, right? So let's say someone made you angry. Instead of just kind of going in the room, cursing them out or tearing things up or breaking your own things or breaking their things, you can just go and sit in the middle of your bed or middle of the floor, wherever it is, and just breathe. Breathe. Ask yourself, what do you want to do with this anger? And we'll go through some techniques and how to just kind of blow away the anger, whatever it is you need to do to feel better. That's how you just kind of work through what you need, right? And then hopefully the mindfulness will make you more curious about how to then answer what your brain is telling you. If you need a hug, okay. And I know there's not a natural curiosity about getting a hug, but maybe it's the curiosity is, why do I need a hug? Why do I feel like I need a hug to feel better in this moment? Because my nana used to give me hugs. They were great hugs. I loved them and they felt good, right? And sometimes it could be as simple as that. Okay, so I want to go back to the idea that some people will make it seem like you have to be so enlightened to be mindful, and you don't. So mindfulness is not this obscure or exotic practice. It's familiar because it's what we do already as human beings, right? So you don't need to be this enhanced and enlightened individual to do it. We're already built to do it. It takes many shapes, and it goes by many names, right? One name, for example, when it comes to mindfulness meditation, some people will call that prayer. Some people would call it chanting. So it's already built in, it's already there for some of us, but it might be a different name or it may have no name, but it is a practice. I know people who automatically, when they feel stress, will automatically just kind of take in gulps of air. They may do it at too quick of a pace, and that's why they can't calm down. But it's almost instinctual for them to just kind of take those deep breaths, right? Again, it's not special. We already have the capacity to be present. It doesn't require us to change who we are, right? But we can cultivate the innate qualities we already have with simple practices that have been scientifically demonstrated to benefit us over time. You know, we know plenty of people who take part in yoga or hiking, or people will call it a mindfulness walk when you talk about hiking. But again, by any other name, hiking would be a mindfulness walk because you're looking at nature, you're looking at the animals, you're looking at the trails, the greens, the rocks, you're looking at the water, depending on where you are, you're looking at all those things and taking it in and just allowing your mind to be free. Um, and understand with mindfulness, like you don't you don't need to change, right? Solutions that ask us to change who we are or become something we're not have failed us over and over again, right? So mindfulness recognizes and cultivates the best of who you are as human beings. And so again, like some people will make it seem like you have to be this different person, the special or enlightened. And I will say that are in this, and I don't mean to laugh, but some cults use mindfulness practices as a way to sell the idea that you're enlightened um, in some way, and that's just not what it is. Anyone can do it. Anyone can practice mindfulness. It's a universal human thing, right? It's a way of living. Mindfulness is more than just practice. It brings awareness and caring into everything you do, and it cuts down the needless stress, right? It's you can pull back, figure out where you are, figure out how you're feeling, and then just use your mindfulness techniques to make yourself feel better. And I'm going to use the end of the video to just kind of go through some of those mindfulness techniques so you can understand. It's evidence based. We don't have to take mindfulness on faith. It's proven, it's scientifically proven that it'll benefit your health, make you more happy, or make you feel happiness more. Work is better, relationships are better, right? And it sparks innovation. You know, as you deal with the world increasing complexity and uncertainty, mindfulness can lead to effective, resilient, and low cost responses to to problems. And what that means is, if there's, some people do this where if there's a problem at work or something they're trying to figure out, then they will bring in um, they'll not bring in, but what they'll do is they'll just kind of meditate for a little while, use mindfulness practices. Some people will pull a problem in front of them, and then just try to meditate on how to figure that out. And so it's, when people talk about it in business practices, it can be very helpful. Okay, so one of the first mindfulness exercises we're going to discuss is find a place where you can sit quietly, undisturbed for a few minutes. You might want to set a timer for about 10 minutes. But after doing this for a while, you'll just kind of know um, how long you want to sit and do. So I'm mentioning that because I don't want you to think there's a set time. If 10 minutes is too long for you to start off with, then start off with 5. I do know that, clients in the past that I've had have been too anxious to sit for 2 minutes. It'll just distract them, and they'll go a little haywire. But try to five, try to seven, nine, then finally 10, to add that one more minute for 10. So begin by bringing your attention to the present moment by noticing your breathing. Pay attention to your breath as it enters and then leaves your body. Before long, your mind will begin to wander, pulling you out of the present moment. That's okay. Allow yourself to go. Notice your thoughts and feelings as if you're outside, as if you're an outside observer, right? You try to continue to bring yourself back in focus, because if you're anxious, you're going to have these thoughts that continue to come up to interrupt it. Just bring yourself back. Um, so, and just remember that sometimes you'll feel frustrated or bored, and that's fine. Just keep going. You might start thinking about what you need to do this upcoming weekend, worries in the relationships. Notice where your thoughts are going and just accept what's happening. Don't try to admonish yourself, and that's what I mean by bring yourself back in focus. Just allow it to go where it's going, instead of, again, admonishing yourself or saying get back in line, or all the negative things that you say to yourself. um, the body scan, I've kind of already went through that, but the body scan is also called progressive. Well, that's not true. The body scan is a little bit different, and I'll talk about what's the difference between the two in just a second. I don't want to mix those up. So during the body scan, I'll just outline it again. You'll pay close attention to the physical sensations throughout your body, right? The goal isn't to change or relax your body, but instead notice and become more aware of it. Don't worry about how long you practice, um, but do move slowly, right? So begin paying attention to the sensations in your feet. Like, how do your feet feel? Like, what's going on? Notice the sensations such as warmth, coolness, pressure, pain, breeze, whatever it is, and then you slowly move up your body, your toes, feet, calves, thighs, pelvis. Just slowly move up to your finally at your head. Spend some time on each body part, and it's just noticing. And by noticing, it's almost like you're focusing your mind's eye on your feet. Like, the only part I want to feel right now is my feet. That's what I'm going to pay attention to. And after you travel up your body, begin to move back down your body through each body part until you reach your feet again. And you're doing this slowly, because this is a type of mindfulness meditation also. It's making you aware that you're just kind of doing this thing with your body, where you're paying attention to every little piece of it, and just becoming one with it. And it's a really great exercise to relax and refocus. Okay, so another mindfulness exercise is mindful eating. So you choose the food you would like to practice with, preferably something you can hold in your hand without getting messy, right? Something as simple as a simple raisin. You can try with a raisin, and it's moving slowly through the steps of mindfulness, just kind of the mindfulness eating exercises. So before you pick up your food, notice how it looks on the table in front of you. Notice its color and how the light reflects from its surface and size. And mind you, this may seem a little bit silly, but what you're trying to do is, with all the mindfulness exercises, you are trying to tap into sight, sound, smell, like all that sensory information. You want to tap into that. So these exercises are intentional about getting you to focus on those things. So now pick up the food, notice the weight of it, how the food feels against your skin. Roll the object between your fingers or roll it in your hand. Notice the texture. Notice if it's smooth, if it's rough, it's slick, soft, firm, or any of the properties the food may have, right? Hold the food to your nose and pay attention to the way it smells. Next, place the food in your mouth, on your tongue, but don't eat it. Notice how it feels in your mouth. Does the texture feel the same as your hand? What do you taste? Roll the food around in your mouth and pay attention to the feeling. Finally, begin to slowly chew your food. Notice your teeth sink into it and how texture is different inside. Pay close attention to the flavor and how it spreads across your tongue. Notice how your body changes. Does your mouth feel with saliva? Does your tongue feel hot or cold? Chew the food, paying close attention to the many sensations as you finish. Okay. And so I know that exercise can seem sort of strange to people, but mindfulness eating is so important in regards to helping you promote better digestion for your food, meaning you're eating slower, you're not gulping air, you're paying attention to how the food feels once it gets in your body. You're giving it time to go down, to take its route to your belly. You're giving it time to do that. It keeps you full with less food, right? Because you're slowing down. You're aware. You're not gobbling. It influences wiser choices about food. Sometimes when you eat mindfully, you can make better choices. You can free yourself from unhealthy habits around food and eat for nourishment. Um, you're not eating for satisfaction or eating to feel better. You're just really eating for nourishment. And then it'll enhance your enjoyment of your meals. You start to appreciate food in the process of eating. Um, and so it overall it really is helpful to do the mindfulness eating. And so one of the last exercises is five senses. You use this exercise to ground yourself in the present when you only have a moment, right? And sometimes people do this before if they feel a panic attack going on. If a person is well versed with this technique, they can bring it in quickly and then bring themselves out of that panic attack. So, five senses. What are five things you can see? So, look around the room and notice five things you haven't noticed before. Maybe a pattern on the wall, light reflecting from the surface, a knickknack in a corner. Just name five things. Notice, excuse me, five things. What are four things you can feel? Maybe you can feel the pressure of your feet on the floor, your shirt resting on your shoulders, or the temperature of your skin, or pick up an object and notice its texture, right? What are three things you can hear? Notice background sounds. You filtered out, such as air conditioning, birds chirping, or cars on a distant street. What are two things you can smell? Maybe you can smell flowers, coffee, freshly cut grass. It doesn't have to be a nice smell either. So trash or sewer. What's one thing you can taste? Pop a piece of gum in your mouth, sip a drink, eat a snack if you have one, or simply notice how your mouth tastes. Taste the air and see how it feels on your tongue. So that is a five senses. That those are activities or practices you can do in regards to mindfulness, and it's simply so that you can just stay present in your body and your mind so that you can build an awareness of what you're feeling and thinking. um Thank you guys, and I will see you on the next video.